and Carson Carls, a defenseman from the Prince George Cougars. 4 teams were in action last night in the NHL playoffs. The Carolina Hurricanes defeated the Philadelphia Flyers 3-2 with an overtime winning goal by Taylor Hall. Canadian Olympian Seth Jarvis had a goal to tie the game at 2 late in the third period for the Canes. In the Western Conference, the Vegas Golden Knights took down the Ducks 3-1 to take a 1-0 lead in the series. Mitch Marner had 2 points in the game. Mitch Marner speaks on what the team can improve on for the rest of the series.
A lot. I don't think anyone in that locker room is pretty satisfied with that win. We know we got a lot better. We know we can play a lot better. I don't think we got to our ozone game at all. We gave them some good looks that Carter made some massive saves on. We know we got to be better. We know the series is going to get harder. That's how it always goes. So go home, take care of yourself, do what you got to do. We'll see what we got tomorrow, and from that point, just be ready for a harder game.
As excitement builds across the city of Vancouver, Canucks fans are heading into the team store today, gearing up with fresh jerseys, hats, and plenty of optimism into the day. Karam Adel has more.
With the NHL Draft Lottery just hours away, all eyes are on where Vancouver will land. While the odds may be slim, there's still a chance the Canucks could walk away with the first overall pick, something that would instantly reshape the future of the franchise. For fans, it's more than just buying the team's merchandise, it's about belief. A belief that tonight could mark the start of a new chapter led by getting a potential superstar, Gavin McKenna. Karam Adel, BCIT News.
Tampa Bay Lightning captain Victor Hedman says his personal leave was to address his mental health. Despite the importance of playoff hockey, Hedman decided to value his mental health over it. The Lightning ultimately fell to the Canadiens in 7 games. In baseball, the Blue Jays lost 5-1 to the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays put up 3 runs on starter Eric Lauer before putting 2 runs on Spencer Miles in the 8th. The Jays had just 1 extra base hit in the game, marking their lowest of the season so far. Rookie outfielder Yohendrick Panongo is now batting .500 in his first 5 games. Kevin Gausman will take the mound today at 3:40 for the Jays. In basketball, the New York Knicks took on the Philadelphia 76ers last night at Madison Square Garden. Knicks won 137-98 over the Sixers, spearheaded by Brunson's 35-point night. Famous actor Timothée Chalamet skipped the Met Gala to watch the Knicks win by 39. The Timberwolves and the Spurs opened their series in San Antonio. The T-Wolves won 104-102 despite Spurs All-Star Victor Wembanyama breaking the playoff record for blocks with 12. And in football, the Seattle Seahawks have signed former 2015 third overall draft pick Dante Fowler on a 1-year deal. The veteran pass rusher will add to the depth of Seattle's defensive line. Fowler has amassed 58.5 sacks in his career, including a 10.5 sack season in 2024 with the Commanders. The reigning Super Bowl champs are currently in rookie minicamps following the 2026 NFL Draft. I'm Gus Johnson. Those are your sports headlines, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Fucking idiot.
This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
Across the Lower Mainland, artists are finding ways to resourcefully reuse old materials in their work. It's all a part of a growing push towards creative reuse, and these artists are embracing it. Leslie Rose spoke with some of the creators, giving discarded items a new life.
Artist Owen Van Santen has been creating sculptures out of scrap metal for 5 years now. What once started as a hobby to get him through his worst time has grown into something meaningful and fulfilling.
I started doing this in 2021. I guess I had gotten diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and it took me out completely. I wasn't able to work for 4 years, basically. I was bedbound, and so during that time there was some moments where I was feeling good enough to do something, and I just needed a creative outlet. And I don't know why I started doing that, but I did. And so I started tinkering on that, because I literally had nothing else to do. And so that's where that came from. And then I realized it was actually kind of cool and people loved it. So then I started making bigger and bigger ones, and here we are.
He repurposes old pieces from bikes, vehicles, and scrap metal to create beautiful pieces inspired by the natural world. Something as simple as butter knives can be used to create the wingspan of an eagle that looks like it's about to take flight.
And so I always like finding car parts, engine parts. I always try to include some spark plugs in it, just because recognizable parts that people like to see. And I'll use anything, whether it be engine parts to cutlery, tools, wrenches, springs, anything. I've just been seeing where God takes me, because I have no plan of doing this, and it's all just, I'm just going with the flow and seeing what comes of it. Well, I'm inspired by nature a lot. I really enjoy doing the trees and stuff, just the organic shapes. I can do animals too, but I find them a lot harder because they have to look exactly right. I find it a lot more enjoyable to do natural objects that don't have to look like something, that can be up to my interpretation. So I enjoy, seeing nature from trees, just like the way vines are twisting on them. I often incorporate that into the bonsai trees. And definitely nature is where I get my inspiration. My next goal is to start upping the social media side of it, start getting more of an online presence. Because I think people would really like to see it, and I think I can inspire a lot of people with it. Both with health, with my story of my health stuff, I think just inspiring that just because you're going through stuff, it's not the end. It's that there is more, it does get better, and that something beautiful can come out of a really hard time in your life.
Upcycled art isn't just a way to practice sustainability. It helps to spread the message that materials never have to be a waste.
For my art personally, it's more of the symbolic side of things. For just seeing something, the beauty that can come out of something that people have discarded.
There are more artists like Owen who are involved in the upcycling movement, and this is just the beginning. Pitt Meadows Art Gallery is currently hosting the Art of Upcycling exhibition. It features artists like Owen who are upcycling objects in their own unique ways.
You know, he gets car parts, or even this is made out of forks and knives, right? Like everyday pieces to make his sculpture. It's really nice.
Art coordinator Jody Callahan spoke about the origin of the idea.
So this is our third upcycling exhibition. It's the first one in this space down here at the South Boston Community Center. We originally came up with the idea during the month for Earth Day back in 2017 as a chance to educate the public on ways to reuse waste materials to create art and to make it more beautiful than its original use. We hope that guests are more aware of what they're throwing away after viewing what these artists have been able to create. Using everyday items in a different creative way than its original purpose. For example, out of need, one of our artists didn't have the money to purchase materials to make his art, so he turned to using other materials that people had discarded. They were free for him to use, he could create his artwork out of them, and now that's how he sees everything. So discarded or unused items are an opportunity to transform his work.
Upcycling is bigger than the art. For Owen, he sees his past works as reflections of how far he's come.
I think our story in life, we don't want it, it's our story for a reason, and if we went back and changed something, then we wouldn't be the same person we are today, and I think that's the same with the art. I think that if I were to go back and change something, then it would be like changing history. You don't want, it's there for a reason. It's my stepping stones, it's the building blocks that got me to where I am today, and I can look on that proudly, and it doesn't have to be something I have to be ashamed of.
This is just the beginning of the Art of Upcycling movement. More and more young artists are joining in to make sure that nothing gets left to waste.
I think it's going to keep getting bigger. I think it's definitely on an uptrend right now, and the more people discover the potential it has, I think it will keep getting bigger, and I think it's going to be very good to bring awareness to the amount of waste we create. But I also think that it's a really good outcome or a good opportunity to use that to turn it into something, to turn a problem into something beautiful.
I'm Leslie Rose, along with Neve Wellington, for BCIT's The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good afternoon. I'm Mark Zhuang, and here are your news and weather at 12. Prime Minister Mark Carney says retired Supreme Court Justice Louise Arbour will become Canada's next Governor-General. Arbour will replace Mary Simon, who became Canada's first Indigenous Governor-General in 2021.
Across more than 5 decades in every role she's held, the Honourable Louise Arbour has carried the same conviction, that a free society depends on institutions properly being held to account, that the law stands between power and the powerless, that the dignity of every person should not be a product of the accidents of geography, citizenship, or convenience.
A man has been killed outside a Surrey, BC business in a daylight shooting on a busy street. Surrey police say officers were called to the business near 76th Avenue and 130th Street at about 3 p.m. Monday and found a man who has been shot. Officers and paramedics attempted life-saving measures, but the man was declared dead at the scene. Homicide investigators have now taken over the case. Police say no arrests have been made in the case and there is no information to share about a suspect. Investigators are asking anyone with information on the attack to contact police. May 5th is Red Dress Day. It's recognized across Canada to show support for Indigenous female victims of violent crimes. Reporter Nevin Yackel has more details about the day and how BCIT is observing it.
Today is Red Dress Day, an important day recognized nationally to spread the awareness of missing and murdered Indigenous women. Red Dress Day began 15 years ago after Stats Canada found that the rate of homicide against Indigenous women was 6 times higher than non-Indigenous women. BCIT is observing Red Dress Day and honoring the victims by encouraging the community to wear red and displaying dresses on campus. More news about the days to follow as we await an interview with a local Indigenous voice. Nevin Yackel, BCIT News.
A British Columbia health authority has secured a new permanent location for its overdose prevention site in Vancouver's city centre after being limited to temporary service for months. Vancouver Coastal Health says in the statement that the Thomas Donaghy overdose prevention site will be operated by social services provider Rain City Housing at 900 Helmkin Street starting June 1st. The health authority says Vancouver's city center has been without permanent overdose prevention services since the last location closed on January 31st. The Vancouver City Center overdose prevention site has seen more than 149,000 visits and responded to 480 overdoses since 2021. Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Gregor Robertson is visiting BCIT's Burnaby Campus to make an infrastructure announcement this Tuesday. BCIT's Noah Horn has more.
Former Vancouver Mayor and Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Gregor Robertson is making a special infrastructure announcement alongside Burnaby MP Wade Chang and BCIT President Jeff Zabudsky. The announcement will be made at BCIT's Burnaby Campus. More to come. Noah Horn, BCIT News.
The Saskatchewan government is launching a postcard survey to determine next steps on a possible social media ban for children. Premier Scott Moe says his government wants to hear directly from residents about limits for those under 16. Moe says the postcards ask whether there should be restrictions or some flexibility for parents to provide consent and whether any social media platforms should be exempt from limits. Moe says the feedback will help inform whether the government should implement an outright ban for youth or make no changes. The postcards are to be returned by June 30th, with the results arranged over the summer, and the campaign is expected to cost up to $500,000. Saskatchewan is one of the many governments looking at the issue. The federal government and other provinces, including Manitoba and Ontario, are examining tighter restrictions. In a recent update of a rare virus outbreak on a cruise ship, current situations show empty decks and gathering areas, medical teams in protective gear, and as passengers and crews waited another day for direction and help off the coast of West Africa. That is all your news and weather at 12. I'm Mark Zhuang, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the lower mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Hello, I'm Robbie Parker, and these are your afternoon sports headlines at 12:10. Today is the day Canucks fans have either waited for or dreaded as the NHL Draft Lottery takes place. The lottery starts at 4 o'clock. The Canucks hold the best odds to pick first overall at 18.5% and have a 25% chance to pick top 2. The lowest the Canucks can fall is to the 3rd overall pick. If the Canucks luck out, they have the opportunity to pick Penn State superstar and Canadian Gavin McKenna. The consensus number 2 overall pick, Ivar Stenberg, would be a great consolation prize if the Canucks pick 2, as he has 5 points with the Swedish men's national team, alongside Canucks Linus Karlsson, Niels Hoglander, and Liam Ogren. Caleb Malholtra, the son of former Canuck and current Abbotsford Canucks coach Manny Malholtra, is an option in the top 3 as well. Vancouver will be hosting a watch party at Rogers Arena, where the Sedin brothers are expected to attend. Last night, in the NHL playoffs.
Got it for Hall. Hall, strong move coming in toward the net. They score! Taylor Hall wins it in Game 2.
The Carolina Hurricanes played host to the Philadelphia Flyers in Game 2, winning 3-2 in overtime, giving the Canes a 2-0 series lead. Game 3 will be in Philadelphia on Thursday at 4 o'clock. In the later game, the Anaheim Ducks traveled to Vegas to play the Golden Knights in Game 1 of their series, where Vegas won 3-1. Game 2 will once again take place in Vegas as Anaheim looks to even it up on Wednesday at 6:30. On the slate tonight, just one game is being played as the Colorado Avalanche host the Minnesota Wild for Game 2 in Denver. Philip Gustafsson starts for the Wild, where Scott Wedgwood starts for the Avalanche. Puck drop is at 5 o'clock, just following the lottery. In league news, Tampa Bay Lightning captain Victor Hedman addressed his recent absence today. Hedman said he had to take some time away from the ice to focus on his mental health.
The mental part is just as important, if not more important, than the physical part. And like I said, this game has given me everything, but it takes a toll on you as well.
Hedman said he's also in a much better place today and is excited for the future ahead with Tampa Bay. Also, Tampa Bay General Manager Julian Brisbois says head coach John Cooper is here to stay. And Buffalo Sabres coach says center Sam Carrick is day-to-day. More locally, the BCHL Conference Finals continues today as both series play their Game 3s tonight. The Nanaimo Clippers look to take a 3-game lead against the Prince George Spruce Games, with the game taking place in Nanaimo tonight at 7 o'clock. On the other side of the bracket, the Brooks Bandits have a 2-game lead and look to continue their dominant goal-scoring ways as they play Cranbrook Bucks tonight at 6 o'clock in Cranbrook. In baseball news, the Toronto Blue Jays struggled yesterday against the Tampa Bay Rays as they lost the ballgame 5-1. Eric Lauer couldn't find his footing on the mound as he had 2 strikeouts and allowed 3 runs in 4 innings. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. got the team's only run after an RBI single. The Blue Jays look to even the series today at 3:40 with Kevin Gausman expected to be on the mound. In basketball, the NBA playoffs had 2 games last night. The New York Knicks dominated the Philadelphia 76ers, winning by 39 points in Game 1 as the final score was 137-98. Knicks star guard Jalen Brunson had his 5th straight playoff game with at least 35 points. Game 2 will once again take place in New York on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. The second game of the day took place in San Antonio as the Spurs took on the Minnesota Timberwolves in their first game of the series. Minnesota took a 1-0 series lead in what was a tight matchup in Game 1. Despite the loss, star big man Victor Wembanyama set the record for blocks in a playoff game at 11. Game 2 will be on Wednesday at 6:30 in San Antonio. Tonight, Cleveland Cavaliers are in Detroit to play the Pistons, and the Oklahoma City Thunder host the Los Angeles Lakers. In other sports, Canadian tennis player Bianca Andreescu defeated Sofia Kenin in straight sets at the Italian Open. And Rory McIlroy returns to the PGA Tour this weekend for the first time since the Masters. I'm Robbie Parker, and these were sports headlines at 12:10.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow. This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
No
Fun City is a long-standing nickname for Vancouver, but a new pinball arcade is adding to the city's entertainment options. Van City Pinball, an arcade, is a dream come true for owner Angelo Muro. Learn more about Muro's story by joining Darius Velati as he explores the arcade before a busy Saturday in East Vancouver.
I restored one of these. This has a new playfield in it, so you see it's like really shiny. It's pretty loud. See if I turn it down.
Nestled on the corner of Commercial Drive and Venables Street, Van City Pinball and Arcade opened its doors at the beginning of March 2026.
My name is Angelo Muro, and I'm operator of pinball machines primarily, and this is an arcade of mine. When you walk into this place, I kept it nice and open, so when you walk in, you see as many machines as possible all at once. I painted the walls and the ceiling black because I wanted the attention to go to the machines themselves. And as you see around here, they're really colorful, beautiful machines, and it's like they're eye-catching. And they're engineered that way because they all want, at the time, people's quarters. They all trying to compete all for themselves.
Muro's entrepreneurial skills grew alongside his passion for pinball.
I guess I've always had some kind of side hustle going on. When I was 20 years old, my best friend's mom, she says, I know a guy moving. How would you guys feel about a pinball machine in the basement? And then what happened is the flipper broke. And long story short is we found out that there was a couple fuses blown. And so when we replaced the fuses, there was more than one. All of a sudden now we're playing this game, and it's like way better. After that, I got just addicted to, making the machine feel more alive.
Look, darling, just what we've been searching for.
Eventually, Muro had placed restored machines in over 40 bars and pubs, but it proved tough going back and forth for servicing.
And that's why I've been thinking about it for like 5 years or so, maybe longer. And it was always a back dream that just to have all my machines in one spot. I think it would be possible to open up. I was very hesitant on seeing if it would be successful.
This arcade stands out with over 60 dedicated pinball games. But starting a new business doesn't come easy.
It's physically hard to move the pinball machines and set them up. So who you'll meet later on, Andrew, he was a big role in helping me load the 5-ton trucks up. Once they're moved, then you still have to set them up. And then once they're set up, you still have to level them. And leveling them took like 2 days by itself. There's a lot of little details that sometimes I wasn't thinking about, and I didn't really care. I was just like, well, I'll figure that out later. I just wanted the machines in here and to have a cool spot. But something had to pay the rent.
Muro and his longtime friend Andrew Maudai are the perfect example of how pinball can bring people together.
All right, either atoms or TNA.
Okay. Well, let's do TNA.
Okay.
Yeah. Nuclear annihilation. And you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay.
Set the bar. This skill shot is really hard.
I was trying to get it.
I saw that.
That would give me the one up on you. It's actually worth a lot, eh? I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, it is. Way to go.
I'm trying actually. So. Oh, my insert chipped.
Oh, are you setting up the multi-bowl before you start the reactor?
Oh, I'm just gonna get some quick and dirty points first. Intimidate you by getting the lead.
The soundtrack is just so good.
Yeah, it's great.
The theme is great. The game is extra hard. It's very difficult. The skill shot is super hard. I'm trying to get the ball to stop up there without coming all the way around or dropping down either side. No! See, it's so dangerous to hit those.
Yeah.
Hey, good game. My name is Andrew Maudai, and I met Angelo about 20 years ago at a mutual friend's house, and we were at a party. We hit it off, right? And I'm telling this guy about this awesome weekend I had the weekend before and how in love I was with pinball. And he says, well, funny you should say that. I'm having a tournament at my house tomorrow. Why don't you come by? And usually I'm the kind of guy who'd say, oh, you know, like, thanks, but no thanks, a little shy, whatever. But I decided to just go. And so we start the tournament, and I got my butt handed to me by like a 14-year-old girl. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. I have that one at home. And so I was out of the tournament. But I was forever in love with pinball from that point. But life got in the way, and I wasn't able to play competitively or dig into it until recently, until this year. So that's gonna save my ball. But this one's my favorite because I like it's really basic. The rule set is great. It's pretty exciting. This is a fantastic arcade. Like, it could be the best one in, certainly this is the best in Western Canada, if not Canada. I think the scene is ready for a place like this. I think this is gonna bring accessibility to new people. I often see families come in with little kids. I'm excited for other people to fall in love with this game that Angelo and I love so much. Pinball has always kind of remained, and I think it's having a resurgence. I think it's romantic. I think it's tactile and it's tangible, and maybe that's something that we're kind of losing in a lot of other areas in our world that's becoming so online. And so sometimes it's just nice to touch it and feel it.
Maudai is sure this will excite the pinball community, but Muro's decision took some thinking.
I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and even people that are like older and that take leaps in life, and they always say it's the decisions that you did and the things you did, not the things that you decided not to do, that are important even if you fail. Like, they don't regret the things that they did. They regret the things they didn't do. So I said, okay, this is probably, the way to go. And I took the plunge, yeah.
Have a nice swim.
Van City Pinball and Arcade isn't just about money. Success will be measured by its impact on the community and its owner.
I even told myself, like, even if I lose a little bit, like not a lot, but if I'm losing a little bit every month, it'd be okay to have like something really cool. People really want this, and the best part about this is when they come in, there's a big smile on their face, and when they leave, there's an even bigger smile on their face, and that's super rewarding to me. And one of my favorite parts is just coming here in the morning when it's really quiet and picking a machine to play, just hear the audio of that one machine and like zoning out for that 5 or 10 minutes and kind of like getting in the world of that machine.
Getting to say, feel my power, I have to shoot the lock.
In Vancouver for BCIT's The Crow, I'm Darius Velati, alongside co-producer Vienna Nguyen.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May.
Good morning, I'm Raisin Velasco with your news to 12:30. The BC provincial government announced it's investing $6 billion into increasing trades internships turnout. Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Gregor Robertson announced the plan during a press conference. BCIT's Noah Horn has more.
Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Gregor Robertson announced a $6 billion investment into the fast-tracking of apprenticeship programs by about 50% at BCIT's Burnaby Campus. The announcement comes in the midst of a provincial housing crisis, as well as an expected over 600,000 tradespeople retiring from the workforce. Robertson says,
At the heart of this plan is Team Canada Strong. That's our commitment to invest up to $6 billion to recruit, train, and hire tens of thousands, up to 100,000 skilled trade workers across the country.
The plan also aims to utilize automation and clean energy to maximize the impact of future projects. Noah Horn, BCIT News.
A man has been killed in a daylight shooting on a busy street in Surrey. Surrey police says officers were called to the location 3 p.m. Monday. Officers and paramedics attempted life-saving measures, but the man was declared dead at the scene. Homicide investigators have now taken over the case, and they are asking anyone with information to contact the police. A gray whale has been hit by a jet ski at a Vancouver beach last night. The jet ski flew in the air for several meters after the hard hit. The collision was captured on video from multiple angles. If you're anxious about getting your full license this summer, you might not have to. According to ICBC, they are scrapping the final Class 5 road test. Some will celebrate the lack of stress. Others point out some of the possible concerns. Our reporter Adam Wang has the story.
For decades, the Class 5 was the final boss for all the BC drivers. It was the last test to prove you understand how to handle a vehicle and becoming an official driver. Now that is being removed if you have a clean record with an in license for a year. However, many citizens believe just because you have a clean record doesn't mean you're a good driver. We went to speak with a local insurance agent to see how skipping this step, which was once viewed as the most important part of becoming a driver, will affect the road. For BCIT News, I'm Adam Lang.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says retired Supreme Court Justice Louise Arbour will become Canada's next government general.
Across more than 5 decades in every role she's held, the Honourable Louise Arbour has carried the same conviction, that a free society depends on institutions properly being held to account, that the law stands between power and the powerless, that the dignity of every person should not be a product of the accidents of geography, citizenship, or convenience.
In international news, Republican lawmakers are looking at spending $1 billion on security upgrades at the White House, tied to the construction of the ballroom that the president is planning. ABC News' Stephen Portnoy has more from Washington.
The president has insisted the $400 million ballroom would be funded privately, but Senate Republicans now propose to put $1 billion in taxpayer dollars toward the project for its security enhancements. In court filings, the administration has said those upgrades would include bomb shelters, a hospital, top-secret military installations, missile-resistant steel columns, drone-proof ceilings, and blast-proof glass. Republicans now aim to add the money to a measure that would provide 3 years of funding for ICE and the Border Patrol, using a procedure that Senate Democrats can't block with a filibuster. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
And now in weather, temperature records continue to fall across BC as unseasonably warm weather persists. Environment Canada says Vancouver's high temperature on Monday reached almost 24 degrees. The Weather Forecast Agency says 19 communities set new daily highs on Monday, again paced by Pemberton. That's all for your news at 12:30. Coming up next with your sportscast, Emma Connolly. With BCIT's The Crow, I'm Raisin Velasco. Thank you for listening.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good afternoon and welcome back to BCIT's The Crow. I'm Emma Connolly and these are your sports headlines for 1240. It's draft lottery day for the National Hockey League. Later this afternoon, the slots will be filled and we will know which team will have the number one pick for the 2026 NHL draft in late June. Reporter Karen Rebo explains how the big night works.
See 4 ping pong balls drawn from a machine. The team randomly assigned the corresponding 4-number combination will select first when the actual draft gets underway, June 26th in Buffalo. The Vancouver Canucks, who finished last this season, have a 25.5% chance of receiving the first overall pick. The Chicago Blackhawks have the second best odds, and the New York Rangers, the Calgary Flames, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Winnipeg Jets could also land the top pick with some luck.
But the real conversation is Gavin McKenna or Ivar Stenberg. The choice between the two has been debated for months as to who will be the number one pick. McKenna showed his talent this past season during his freshman year at Penn State in the NCAA, and Stenberg made a name for himself during these past World Junior Championships. With the lottery draft this afternoon, we will be one step closer to ending the debate. Tampa Bay Lightning captain Victor Hedman revealed Tuesday that his absence in the final weeks of the season was caused by a need to address his mental health. Hedman didn't provide specifics about what he's been dealing with. He didn't play in Tampa Bay's final 22 games of the season, including the 7 playoff matchups in the first-round loss of the Montreal Canadiens. Hedman has been around the team in recent weeks, even taking part in some skates. But his last game was in mid-March. The 35-year-old Swedish defenseman has been with the Lightning for all 17 of his NHL seasons. Top-ranked Ariana Sabalenka believes tennis players should organize a boycott if they don't start to receive a bigger share of revenues at Grand Slams. Sabalenka was among leading players who issued a statement this week expressing deep disappointment of the French Open prize money. The players are also seeking better representation, health options, and pensions from the 4 Grand Slam tournaments. The PGA Tour announced today a trio of Canadians will tee up for the PGA Championship next week in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. Nick Taylor of Abbotsford was named of one of the 3. No Canadian man has won a major since Mike Weir at the 2003 Masters. The Toronto Raptors season ended just 2 days ago, but the head coach, Darko Rakovic, is looking ahead at the 2026-2027 season. He says it's an ongoing process of getting better every day for his team.
Obviously, we're going to have a couple of weeks over here off, and it really never stops. It's constantly finding ways how to improve, how to get better, how to help players, how to stay in their corner. So that's a process that it's undergoing from now.
He was named Toronto's 10th head coach in June 2023 with a mandate to develop the team's young core. BC Rugby has done their senior final club finals this weekend at South Surrey Athletic Park. 7 teams will take the pitch Saturday with a variety of different divisions all the way from Division 3 to Premier. First game is at 10:15 in the morning and last game starts at 4:30 in the afternoon. The PWHL playoffs are still underway as the Minnesota Frost visit Laval Place to take on the Montreal Victoire in Game 4 tonight. Controversy surrounds the game as Minnesota forward Britta Curl-Salemi serves a 1-game suspension for an incident Saturday night. It also resparks conversation of Curl-Salemi's public views. She is known to be booed in every rink she plays in. On her social media, she has publicly liked posts that includes racist and homophobic commentary. Curl-Salemi also partnered up with anti-trans organization Fierce Athletics. Since her selection in the 2024 PWHL draft, both the league and Frost team staff had denied media access to her on multiple occasions. Game 2 of the second round series between the Minnesota Wild and Colorado Avalanche take place tonight. Philip Gustafson will be your starting goaltender for the Wild, and Scott Wedgwood to start for the Avalanche. Puck drop is 5 p.m. in Denver, Colorado. The battle for the BCHL Cup continues as Brooks Bandits are a long way from home to battle the Cranbrook Bucks for Game 3. Puck drop is 6 p.m. That is all your sports headlines for this afternoon. I'm Emma Connolly, and this was BCIT's The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the lower mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.